Magandang gabi lahat. Good evening all. I'm Motzie, and I'm here with my lovely friend and co-host, Edward McKee.
Hi, how's it going, everybody?
Yes, this is the Hainai B-Sides, and we are chatting about Hainai, and of course, the last 3 episodes, as well as answering some questions about Hainai in general. I know that's not the traditional intro. I'm not even, reading the intro anymore. I'm just
At this point, it's all vibes-based, baby.
It's vibes. It's vibes. And yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the last 3 episodes of Hainai. It has been, well, not that long, but it has been a little while since the last B-Sides.
Just a little bit.
And I'm super excited to chat about, these
Oh,
episodes.
yes.
Oh yeah, a lot happened.
So much happened.
And yeah, we have quite a few questions, actually. So what we're going to do is, we're going to answer the questions off the top, and then we will be discussing each episode in more detail, and discussing sort of behind-the-scenes stuff and interesting facts about the episodes. For B-Sides 1.9, we've done 9 of these already. Is that crazy?
That's crazy. It does not feel like it's been that many already.
Right, but time does fly, doesn't it?
It really does. Oh, boy.
It's 2026.
Oh, God.
Can you believe?
Don't remind
to
me.
learn.
2020 still feels like it was last year for me.
Which I hate, but yes, it's true.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Oh, my God.
Absolutely. Okay. I just want to open the episodes as well, just so I have the summaries ready. But I also have the questions right here on hand. So give me a moment while I bring them up. By the way, Ed, how are you doing?
It's been going.
It's been.
I'm American, and that's all I'm going to say on that subject.
It's been.
It's been.
Sure, you sure are.
It could be worse for me personally.
American.
I'm safe. I'm in a safe place. So anybody listening, you don't have to worry about me, I promise. So that's all I'm going to say on that subject. Because, oh boy.
Yeah.
How have
America.
you? How have you been?
How have I? Good. It's fine. Nothing to complain about, really.
That's good.
Very cold, I think, is the best way. You can hear it in my voice, but the cold brings such a lethargy that you cannot really control. And that's me. You can hear it in my voice, you can hear it in my words, you can hear it in the way that I clearly just want to be napping and or sleeping. But otherwise, very good.
Yeah, because you're from an area that's very hot, aren't you?
Yes, I am. The Philippines is, oh boy, hot and humid.
Yeah.
But here it is, we're actually just experiencing the coldest it's been in Toronto since, I don't know, the 90s or something. I don't know exactly how long it's been, but certainly more than 10 years, which is way longer than I've been in Toronto, so.
That sounds about right.
Oh, yeah.
Oof, well, I hope you stay warm up there.
Oh, trying. But yeah, I'm just going to very quickly go over each episode, then we're going to go into questions. So, the first episode that we're going to be covering is episode 74, Bangon, or Rise. I was actually arguing with myself which translated word I would use, because Bangon means to get up from bed, or to get up from lying down. So it's I could have written get up, but I feel like that would have been a bit confusing. Rise is a little bit, broad, but that's the most dramatic way I could say it. Bangon, getting up from bed. And the summary is, Mary awakens more of her power, ready to suffer the consequences. And whatever happened to Anya Creek. So, the way I describe this episode is that we brought back Anya Creek from episode 2 after 5 years just to tell you that she's still not okay.
Nope.
She's still not doing good.
She's really not okay.
Although we don't know how not okay. She's recovered physically. But let's see.
We'll see.
Let's see what's going on with her. In episode 75, one of my favorite words, too, in Tagalog, Sansinukob, or universe.
Ooh.
And the summary is, a dead man explains the universe, the big ones, and the nature of magic. And we're like, who's the dead man?
I wonder.
I wonder who that is. And when people learned who the dead man was, they were like, what? How is he dead? And I did not answer a single thing.
I'm not going to either, so don't come asking me for answers.
I thought it was pretty unmysterious, as I always am. I'm always so straightforward, and I always reveal things at once.
You are the most straightforward. Definitely.
I'm never hiding anything.
Definitely
I'm never
not.
obfuscating. And then episode 76, Sanghiyang. So Sanghiyang actually doesn't have a translation. I thought it did. It did not, but that's even better. And the summary says, Mary performs a fiery ritual to cleanse and protect the others. Evelyn Y. observes something terrifying in the flames. So, yeah, this was a fun one and definitely did not cause anxiety in all the listeners.
Oh, definitely not. No anxiety here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I read the script episode and I didn't feel any anxiety whatsoever.
Of course, why would you?
No reason.
Mary's making good decisions as usual.
As usual. She's very good at making good decisions.
Yeah, all the time. What? Oh, yeah, she's doing good. Okay, so let's move into the questions. Some of the B-Sides questions are specific to these episodes, while the others are just general High Night questions. But we got a lot this week, so I'm very excited. So the first question is from the lovely Kat, longtime listener Kat, who says, listening to the B-Sides and realizing that Hainai must be set in a no-COVID timeline, which is true. It's set in 2020 to 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So B-Sides question, how would each character handle quarantine? This is like one I haven't even thought of yet. I just thought it was such an interesting question because...
That is a really interesting question.
Yeah, I had specifically, set Hainai in a no-COVID timeline because I think I said something like, there's going to be a COVID equivalent event in Hainai, but no COVID. So it's a very different world that they're going to be, like, ending on, let's say. And...
Yeah.
But if they were...
And the thing about COVID, too, is that, like... Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to get into it, but please, go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, the thing about COVID is, like... It's such a unique experience just because there was this global disease that didn't have a cure, and on top of it being this, like, incurable, rampant disease that was making everybody sick, it also had a very weird political climate surrounding it. And I think the characters would have a different reaction to COVID depending on whether we're also going by, like, our universe rules. You know, like, are we in the same political climate? Are we in, like, a different political climate? You know, like, how are international relations? Is information being shared and spread? So, like, I think answering the question of how people would handle COVID is a question that we have to really simplify just for the fact of, like, you know, are we, like, counting the foci and the elders as part of the problem, too? Or is it just,
right?
like...
That's the thing, right?
You know, like, there's so many different factors going into this question that it's fascinating to think about. But also, how do we go about answering this question?
It is difficult to think about because, like, if it's a whole other alternate universe, it could be its own show if COVID was in Hainai. Because the elders could take advantage of a mass death event, for sure. And if the foci are active at this point, the mass death event would cause them to kind of become a little more powerful and manifest a little more. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's an interesting, like, sort of, it will become a little more apocalyptic than even, like, the outbreak itself.
Exactly.
So to answer that question, a COVID Hainai universe would be a much more apocalyptic scenario.
Absolutely,
given
it would
that, you know, all of the ways that mass death events occur in Hainai.
Oh, God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, with all the COVID deaths, the foci would just be like...
Yeah, the elders would be very
going
happy.
Crazy.
Like, the
elders would be
have all the
happy as
excuse
hell.
they have, yeah.
Oh, no.
Exactly. It would be a very different scenario. It would be a darker show, for sure. It's already a pretty dark show.
Yeah.
But...
More dark than it already is, you mean?
Exactly. Yeah. But, yeah, like, that's why I've kind of wiped out COVID from Hainai, because it like, has such an implication on, the mass death events. That's, like, what I refer to it as. But to simplify, let's just say that none of that applies.
Yeah.
Mary would... Yeah, and it's also like they don't know each other yet because this takes place in 2020, or most of Hainai takes place in 2020, and now in 2021. Which means that would they even have met each other? Again, like, my brain is kind of going into all the AU scenarios.
Yeah.
And, like, how would they be now versus back then?
Mm-hmm.
Do we assume, like, of course, spoilers for not that recent, so I can actually spoil it now, but, like, spoilers, they're all together now.
Mm-hmm.
And so would they get through COVID together? You know, or are we talking about them when they were single
Mm-hmm.
kind of situation? So a lot of that. So it's kind of a very roundabout way of saying I don't really know. Mary was already very isolated when she was living in Toronto, so she would continue to be isolated, but I think she would feel a little better that she's not the only one being isolated.
Yeah, exactly.
Laura would feel real bad because she came to Toronto to, like, meet people and, like, do fun stuff and all that. She wanted adventure. So I feel like Laura would be super depressed by being quarantined the whole time.
Oh, absolutely.
Donna and Murphy would definitely be tracking a lot more of the, cases, but things would be way quieter on, like, just the everyday front because not many people are going out.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be a lot more mystery and a lot more eeriness, I think, to their work. But yeah, they're also, like, their own quarantine bubble, so they'd be around each other all the time.
Yeah. I don't think they'd necessarily need to isolate each other or from each other rather, because they already go everywhere together. So if one of them catches COVID, they're both like, well, we both have it. So.
Exactly, exactly. And I think Ashvin would just have a very good delivery system for people to, like, get his products.
Yes.
But I think he'd have to have, like, a disclaimer being like, no, I don't know anything about COVID. I don't know anything about curing COVID.
Yeah, like,
Ashvin's an asshole, but he's not that much of an asshole, like, he won't.
Yeah, he's a con man. He's not that much of a con man. He's not a snake oil salesman who's like, ooh, I have the cure for COVID right here. Like, he's not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of those, like, crystals will make your spirit better or some shit like that. But
Yeah.
he's like,
I think,
at worst, he's kind of like which is still bad in the grand scheme of things. But, like, at worst, he's the kind of guy who's like, take your supplements. Like, he's a supplements guy, but he's not really, like, gonna pretend that it's gonna cure COVID. He's not that, like, that evil.
Exactly, yeah. I think at most he would just be like, this crystal bracelet will help purify the bad vibes surrounding you, and these supplements will help you feel better if you catch the flu. But I am not going to cure COVID. Don't ask me about it.
Yeah,
I know nothing about curing COVID.
Not even the flu. He'd be like, I can cure everything else, but not COVID. He's like, no, don't ask.
I can cure everything except
Get
COVID.
your vaccines, please, Jesus.
Please, for the love of God.
Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of like, it's a lot. If I wanted to answer the question in more detail, it would be an entire separate AU. It would be an alternate universe of Hainai.
Oh, yeah. We could spend the entire hour talking about just this question, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. The next question is super funny because it's from Nerdy Flower. And basically, I had said something about, like, in the Discord, I said, because we were talking about, so this is actually Dominus adjacent as well. So Dominus is the podcast I'm working on, which I'm very excited about.
It's so good, you guys. I'm so excited.
Very excited. I said something about how my tatay listened to Jesus Christ Superstar, the musical, the rock musical, as a form of rebellion while in the seminary to become a priest. And I mentioned that in passing. And I said, like, if you want me to talk about it in more detail, I will mention it in the B-sides. And Nerdy Flower very kindly was like, I need to know the story. So, this is for Nerdy Flower. So, this is a lot of, like, weird context stuff. So, one, my tatay, my dad, was supposed to become a priest. Clearly he didn't. He has 6 children. But originally he was supposed to become a priest. And back in the day, this is the funniest thing, their form of rebellion was hiding a cassette tape and a cassette player which had the original cast of Jesus Christ Superstar.
That's
because
so
obviously
funny.
the older, stuffier priests were like, ugh, it's so it's so blasphemous. They didn't like it at all. But Jesus Christ Superstar is a banger. I do understand why the old traditional priests don't like it, though.
Yeah.
It is deeply blasphemous to those who don't like the idea of Jesus being a person. A person who experienced fear and insecurity. even though that's literally in the Bible. But yeah, my dad loved it so much, my Tatay loved it so much, that we would listen to Jesus Christ Superstar every year during Holy Week when I was growing up.
That's so funny.
It's so fun, and it's a good musical. For those of you who don't listen to Jesus Christ Superstar, it's a good musical, and it is, and I say this, like, completely seriously, one of the gayest musicals that has ever been created.
That's what I hear. I should really watch it sometime.
It is, yeah. After this, I'm going to show you some clips because.
I can't wait.
But yes, Jesus Christ Superstar is also one of the main things I listen to as I'm doing Dominus. Anyway, that's a general story. My Tatay was rebelling by listening to Jesus Christ Superstar. Very funny. And then.
I love how that was your dad's teenage rebellion.
I know, right? And the fact that it was so offensive. Like, it was so offensive to the priests. That they had to hide it. They had to hide the cassette tape and the cassette player. The mini cassette player that they had.
That's so funny.
Hell yeah. And then, okay.
Good for them.
Yes. Next question. From Alex, the wonderful Alex. You will hear from her every single time we do a B-Sides. Alex is wonderful. So.
We love Alex.
Alex is the best. Alex says, B-Sides question. Tangentially related to episode 74. Do you have any ideas about what became of some of the other one-off surviving victims of the elders and foci, who you are sure won't be brought up again? Well, I actually am not sure who won't be brought up again, because right now, if they survive, then they're still around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
exactly.
Obviously we know that Hen and Edda have already passed away, even though they've survived, but we will probably bring them up in passing because of, like, their familial relationship to Donner.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, their antagonistic relationship with one of the elders that's still around.
Mm-hmm.
But never say never, you know? Like, I don't think about a lot of the ones I've already written about, but if I have a good idea and I think, hey, I want to bring this guy back or this lady back or whatever, I'll bring him back, you know? Certainly I can tell you that I haven't thought about a lot of the characters that I made up just for the one-offs, but I could bring them back.
You never know.
And there may be something in the future that may cause me to bring a few of them back.
It's already happened a couple of times.
It has happened a couple
I think
times.
we mentioned in the past that Manfred was supposed to be a one-off character.
I said to myself, I lied to myself.
Yeah, we lied. Teehee, we lied.
I was like,
oops.
Jay was supposed to be a one-off character.
That
Look
too,
how that
yeah.
turned out.
Jay that ended up being one of the most important characters so far.
Exactly. So, yeah. Any ideas about what became of some of them? I do have some ideas, but I'm deciding whether or not when to bring them in and what will happen, blah, 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 blah. You know who'd be the funniest one to bring back, though?
Who?
Like, with a very serious situation and very serious, like, storyline.
I have a feeling I know, but tell me anyway.
Wait, please guess who you think is the funniest one, and then I'll tell you.
Oh, God. There are so many good choices. Oh, God damn it, what's the name? I'm blanking on the name. Oh, my God.
Describe.
The, very early episode, You know, when I remember which episode they're from, I will properly be able to describe it.
What did they do? Why do you think it was them? Like, what did this person do?
Oh my God. It was in a very early episode, there was somebody who... Never mind, pretend I didn't say anything, I just realized that I dreamed it. This was a dream episode.
Oh, fair enough.
I had it...
Fair enough.
Okay, can we just cut this whole section out of the episode?
No worries,
I had a dream about
will...
Hainai and then convinced myself it was real, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, that actually didn't happen. That wasn't canonical.
I need to hear about this dream.
It was so stupid. The Scooby Gang was investigating some weird, creepy, haunted location, and there was, like, a clown involved, I think.
Okay, that's a new episode that's coming soon.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna write about a clown eventually.
Okay, make it a prophetic dream. Okay, anyway, I was gonna say the clown would be really fun. I was trying to remember his name. and like what his role in the story was. And as I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute, that didn't.
I was like, what clown?
Hang on, did that actually happen? No, I dreamed that. So anyway, never mind. Ignore me.
I think it would be so fun if you just said like the clown, and I'm like, the clown? What clown?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you know, the clown from the clown episode.
The clown episode. I'm like, the what?
God.
Alternate universe, I know. Okay, so
anyway, who are you thinking of that would be fun to bring back? Because I clearly don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Okay, so the funniest one would be, do you remember JD? Calling DJ? Who's like,
yeah! Oh, I love that guy. Oh, he should definitely
the guy
come
who
back.
was super high, who was super high and was like, oh, my haunted,
yeah, DJ,
dresser.
DJ, I promise, like, DJ, I know what I'm talking about, DJ.
Yes. Imagine if I brought him back. And for those of you who don't know, he's actually voiced by the same voice actor for, Savard. So the very, respectable Savard.
Yes, that would be incredible.
He is. But yeah, I'm never sure if somebody's going to be brought up again or not. That's the answer, Cap. And okay, one more question from Alex. It says, if it isn't a spoiler, what were the Scooby Gang's reactions when Mary first told them she was going to set herself on fire for the rituals?
I don't think she led with, I'm going to set myself on fire, because every single member of the Scooby Gang would vehemently be against it.
Exactly. I actually specifically decided to hide their reactions other than through Evelyn's eyes, because I was thinking about all the ways this conversation could have gone. And there are many ways it could have gone. I chose not to sort of linger on that, but you can tell that certain people are not happy about this, and the rest you don't even get to know what they're feeling. But, it's not really a great proposition to be like, I'm going to set myself on fire. But clearly they accepted it. It's just probably not happily.
Yeah.
We might maybe dive into a little bit of the reactions later. There's actually a scene that I erased from this episode that I was originally planning to have. We might bring it back later, but for now, it is a deleted scene, which is basically that originally the plan was to have Mary talk to Ashvin about healing her in case the ritual went wrong. Right now, as far as we can tell, the ritual has not gone wrong, and Mary came out of it pretty much unscathed, but there was a moment where I was considering her having a discussion with Ashvin, and Ashvin kind of pushing against the idea, but her being like, I trust you to be able to heal me through this, and I just decided against it at the end of it, because I wanted the messaging to be a little different from this episode. But yeah, of course, as I said, Ashvin would have been pushing against it, but also she would have trusted him to be able to do this, and he would have done it for her. But the rest of them, let's just say not happy. We may address it in a future episode, but for now, that's as much as you get. How Laura and Donner feel based on how Evelyn observed them, but it's a very limited POV from the episode. Then...
Yeah. I am glad that you deleted the scene with Ashvin, just because I feel like it would be a little bit out of his character to just go along with an insane plan. Because as much as he trusts Mari and he knows that she knows what she's doing, to be approached to say, hey, do you know healing magic? I'm going to set myself on fire and I want to make sure nothing goes wrong, that in and of itself is pretty alarming. And I think Ashwin would just be like, no, actually, we're going to sit down and really talk about this because I need to know exactly what it is you're getting me into.
Yeah.
Because the last time she did a big, huge ritual and he didn't have all the facts, he got possessed by a ghost.
Yeah, there's also that. Like, Ashvin would be completely against it. The fact that he accepts it now, you can kind of assume, like, what the conversation was. But it is very much like, but I don't think him having an active role in it would have helped. As you said, like, he probably would have been completely against it. Probably wouldn't even have shown up if it was a different story,
Exactly.
But he was there. They all are there because she's trying to protect all of them, so she's trying to, like, do this ritual for them. Although he is not mentioned because of all these things that I have talked about, where I decided against portraying that because it, like, sets a different tone. Although what I wanted to achieve with that scene was sort of emphasizing how powerful Ashvin had become when it comes to healing, which we will probably, like, revisit at a later date. because it is important for us to kind of emphasize that and how much he's grown in his magic, more towards healing than anything else. Because healing is really like the factor that makes him, out of everything else, sort of like significant as a character. Or as like a role, let's just say, in the story. But yeah.
Exactly.
And the last question I'm going to ask from I think, a new listener, and also, it's not just one question, it is a whole slew of questions. It is...
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, it is a thread of questions, in fact. All of which relate to each other, which I'm happy about, so we're going to go through these questions. And these questions are from MG on Blue Sky. The questions say, Salai is an elder apprentice, but have we or will we meet any other apprentices? Yes, absolutely. So, I forgot which episode it was where we actually list them out, but I believe it was Evelyn still, who listed out a bunch of elders who could be a threat, and one of them, whose name escapes me right now, is like, I named him and I completely forgot his name, but he is like a well-known apprentice whose hand got all skeletonified, when his master got sucked and gooped, into a skeleton, or into, like, just goop. But, I'm trying to remember his name. I might bring it up later. But that's one of the other apprentices, and he didn't do it on purpose, but he did get all of his master's powers, so it worked out for him. Certainly we will be addressing him later. Yeah, it's like, oopsie, doopsie. We'll be addressing him later, but for now, that's about all we know about him. We've described him a bit physically, or Evelyn has, and yeah, we're going to learn more about him in the future for sure. And then the next part of the thread says, I thought the elders became elders at the point of Savard's initial experiment, creating the foci. If that's true, then there's generally a single constrained conduit of magic, right? Which creates a puzzle. Why would elders in general take on apprentices if it means even more magic users feeding off that conduit, especially knowing the supply is dwindling as the Scooby Gang destroys or deactivates foci? And then I assume that's why you get elders trying to generate new sources of magic. CB with his books, Vanessa's unstable portal, Thompson's hell basement. Will we hear about any of those attempts if other apprentices enter the picture?
Good question.
And then the last question is, would there be some kind of formal in-universe method of inducting a new apprentice if so they formally join? What would that look like, or would the benefactor even allow it? So, to kind of answer all those questions, not all elders were inducted at the same time. In fact, Salai was inducted in the 80s, in the late 80s, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Because Thompson's crimes happened around the 70s. So, Salai was a kid back then. So not all apprentices and not all elders were actually inducted from the original, like, Savard ritual. They had a method of adding them to the pool, let's say. So let's say there's a pool of magic. And there is a way for you to become an elder by adding you to the pool. Now, they had to pick and choose their elders, but the pool remains the same as you mentioned. The elders are allowed to make new foci, so they can actually increase the pool, but it had to be done in the same way. That being said, a lot of elders died, especially during their wars. So, while technically they were able to kind of create new elders willy-nilly, and certainly they inducted a lot of new elders during the war, these days, with the sort of centralized power of the benefactor, and the way that he kind of recreated Savard's old, system, he doesn't allow people to create new elders unless they are properly, inducted. Unless he can, vet them,
Yeah.
And if someone betrays him and does it anyway, he kills them. Because that's kind of the agreement they all have. They're like, they have the system, stay within the system, and benefactor will protect you, and, defend you, and do, and benefit you. But if you go against the system, the benefactor has free reign to punish you. So, the last apprentice that we know of that was inducted was Salai, and he's not even in the book because he was the most recent. He was, in the 70s. So, yeah, you get a lot of, there are other apprentices that I have not mentioned, but generally speaking, you can become an elder. In fact, if you remember, Michael was technically trying to become an elder, and he was technically on the right track. He just didn't know how.
Yeah.
And the how is known by mainly the benefactor Richard Henry, but also known by some of the original elders, etc., etc. So, yeah, I hope that answers all your questions. And just to get into why the other elders are trying to generate new sources of magic, it's because, let's say you are sharing in the pool of magic, and that pool of magic is being watched by a leader who doesn't like when you step out of line. So you're like, what if I had a different pool of magic I could pull from that would make me more powerful than the leader? I will definitely do that, and I will use it against the leader. That was kind of the justification of a lot of the elders making their own magic pools. And as you may have noticed, most of them have been killed, except for Vanessa. Because Vanessa very smartly has not done anything with it. I mean, she can't, because the last time they tried, Juliano got gooped.
Yeah.
So she's kind of playing it a little safe. But if the benefactor knew about it and knew that she was trying to act against him, she'd be killed. She'd be dead.
Yeah.
And even if the benefactor did know about it somehow, if he was sure that she wasn't trying to act against him, he'd probably let it play out. He'd probably be like, oh, that's an interesting new power source. Let's let this play out. And unlike the others, Vanessa was not, just killing a bunch of people willy-nilly to get this new power source. It is an open rift, Like, it's almost like Vanessa found, like, a sustainable power source that she just can't control, but is not, at least to their knowledge, exploiting the lives of human beings, And even if the benefactor knew about it, which we don't know if he does, he'd be interested. He'd be super intrigued by the concept of finding a power source that is not exploiting human beings as far as they know.
Oh, yeah. He would be fascinated by it.
Yeah.
I think... Wasn't it established that Richard Henry knew about it at least? Because he told Mari.
Yes. Richard Henry did know about it as well.
Yeah.
I believe he even met up at her house, but I don't know if they knew about the rift or not at that time.
But we don't know if the benefactor knows about it.
But yes, we don't know if the benefactor knows about it, but
Yeah.
There are perhaps some events in the story that may point to what the benefactor does know.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Possibly.
Exactly.
Who knows?
Possibly. All right. Yes, so we have actually answered all the questions. Fantastic questions. Thank you so much, everybody.
That was a lot of questions. Thank you so much.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun.
Yes, super fun. And we can go on to just a bit of a summary of each episode. And I can answer some of your questions about the episodes as well. So here we go. So, as we know, in 74, Bangon, or Rise, Mary awakens more of her power, ready to suffer the consequences, and whatever happened to Anya Creek. And of course, the content warnings include loss of a child, mentions of psychosis, altered reality, and near-death experience. Because Anya Creek had a bad time, let's say.
Yeah, especially considering what we know about Thompson now, hindsight being what it is, she was going through it in a way worse way than we all thought initially.
Oh yeah.
Poor Anya Creek.
Poor Anya Creek. The fact that she survived it is good, though. I mean, not amazing.
Quite frankly, it's a miracle she survived for as long as she did.
Yes. The fact that Thompson is, like, we didn't know how bad he was, but we kind of also did, from what he did to Anya Creek.
Yeah.
And him manifesting
we knew he was bad based on what he...
Oh,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
We knew how bad he was just based on the way he treated her, but knowing how bad he was before he became a ghost, it's like, oh, he was holding back with her. Got it.
Exactly. In fact, the way he was doing it was kind of just like, here's how my baby looked like. And yeah, that was kind of the implication, but I never actually clarified it. He was using the image of his own son to kind of trick Anya Creek.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Because he was a family man. And, he loved being a dad. He was a terrible, terrible person. But he was a family man. And, his family did not experience all of the very big crimes that he was doing to other people.
Yeah, which somehow makes it worse.
That's why Anya was so convinced. Yeah, right? That's true. I mean, that's how, the most evil people are.
It's true.
They're so good to the people that they care about, but the people they don't care about, they are monsters.
It's true.
And that's how Thompson was. He genuinely loved his family. He genuinely loved his son. And his son would later face the consequences of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Poor
which
guy.
was Jamila's granddad. Yeah. And yeah, and like that love was what actually tricked Anya Creek into thinking that, yeah, this is definitely a real baby, this is definitely my child.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so taken over. And she was so, like, truly oppressed, like, by this illusion that he had forced on her. But also, it was what she wanted truly.
Yeah.
And so the fact that it was taken away from her really, like, hurt her and really affected her.
It really did. This poor woman.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
And
so
yeah,
bad for her.
but, you know, she did find an internet forum and started socializing with people. I wonder where that's gonna go.
I'm sure it's not going to go anywhere at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's
I'm
not
sure
gonna
it's
be
not important.
addressed in the future.
Don't worry about it.
Just like Mary saying, I need more of it, the power. I need more of it to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
In the same episode, Mary again making very good decisions.
Yep. Very, very good decisions, Mari. We're not worried about you whatsoever.
Yeah, I definitely didn't draw Mary the other day with an evil smile on her face.
Definitely not.
Not that she's evil or anything,
No.
but certainly making bad decisions.
Not evil, just, you know, she has...
Just a little worrisome, let's just say that.
Yeah, she's just making us worried. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Also, she explains, like, how she's sending out Michael and Lori to, like, protect people, which is kind of neat, but it's not good. But it is kind of neat. You know, she now has these two, like, spectral soldiers that she's sending out to kind of protect people with, and let's see how that goes.
I'm sure it's totally fine and nothing that we need to worry about at all.
Yeah, absolutely not. Anyway, moving on to Hainai 75. Yeah. So in Hainai 75, Sansinukob universe, such a wonderful word. Sansinukob universe, content warnings, reference to death ritual, reference to murder, suicidal ideation, self-harm, and immortality. And the summary is, a dead man explains the universe, the big ones, and the nature of magic. I was looking at the content warnings, and I was like, these are really heavy content warnings.
Yeah.
But all it means to say, that's why I put immortality at the end, even though it's not really a content warning, is to say that this guy did all this stuff, but he's still alive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was definitely trying to kill himself, but he's still alive, so it's question mark fine, not really, but you know, not quite the same.
Yeah,
It's a different deal.
It's fine.
Yeah. And in Sansinukob, it's so funny. Like, sometimes I label the documents, you know, Hainai 71, Hainai 72, blah, 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 blah. But sometimes when I'm deciding whether or not they're going to be a separate episode or if they're going to be part of the main episode, I label them something different. So, for example, I have the document saying The Young Man Part 2, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, it's actually labeled, and this is not a spoiler if people have kind of figured out who it is, because a lot of people have. But if you haven't, then I guess it's a spoiler, sorry. I thought it was kind of obvious, though. So, well, actually, you know what? It might be relevant, so I guess I won't spoil it now. I'll just say it's a name, and then after the name it says Cosmic Episode. That's literally how I labeled it. It's the Cosmic Episode.
It is the
It's
Cosmic
when
Episode,
the dead
you're
man
right.
explains the cosmos of Hainai. And that was just an excuse for me to be like, hey, I know I've presented a lot of really weird concepts in Hainai. Let me sit you down and just explain to you what's going on right now.
Yeah, I definitely needed it because even though we've talked about it in depth in the past, there's just so much to keep track of that it's a little hard to remember what exactly is happening, especially behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it's fun too because it's like it allows me to kind of world build a bit more. The big ones are one of my favorite world building like aspects.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to explain what I've known about Hainai for a long time, which is like the nature of, you know, the veil, the other side, and also this like thin like membrane of nightmare. And I love it's like, ah yes, so there's a semi-permeable membrane in which nightmares live. And it makes sense because when you sleep, you go into the semi-permeable membrane, and that's why you have nightmares. But also, when the foci tear open a bit of the veil, the semi-permeable membrane spills nightmares into our world, which is why, when the foci activate, sometimes you will see just the most terrifying nightmare creatures which seem to have nothing to do with anything, but are definitely fucking terrifying. That's literally my in-universe explanation for why sometimes nightmare creatures appear in Hainai when it's not like a personal nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, the world is a sack.
It's a good explanation.
The world
it makes a lot of sense.
The world is a cell, and the nightmare is the semi-permeable membrane around the cell, and like the external part is the other side, where all the magic comes from. And the cell provides stability to the world, but there is no stability outside of the cell, which is why that's where all the energy comes from and the magic and stuff. But it sometimes does seep through. Especially when you poke a hole in the world.
Right.
Yeah. It's super fun. Like, obviously, it is framed in, like, this person sort of explaining everything because he's dead now. When is he dead? Because the other thing about being dead and also being in the nightmare and all that is that time is not really linear anymore. That's an important part.
Time doesn't exist.
Exactly.
When you're dead.
Exactly. And you get a hint of that all the way back in episode 8, when Mary is having that dream. Because time is kind of wibbly-wobbly in the nightmare membrane, and it's also very wibbly-wobbly in the other side. As I said, the cell walls, like the cell of reality, provides structure for those living in it, but once they're asleep or dead, there is no more structure. Time is not time. And reality is not reality.
Exactly.
And so, that guy's dead, but maybe he's not dead right now in the story.
Yeah, like he's not dead currently as we know him in the timeline, but he will probably be dead in the future.
Yes.
Because that's just kind of how mortals work.
Yes.
Mortal lives.
Yes.
Tend to go out eventually. And he's reaching through the ether of time to reach our ears in the current timeline, because for him, time doesn't exist, so he can just do that.
Exactly. And he's just, adding a bit of stress to people who know who he is and are wondering, why the fuck is he dead?
Yeah, exactly. So sorry to ruin the stress for you a little bit, but also, is there a reason you should be worried? I don't know. Probably not. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I don't know. Yeah, don't worry about it. And I just wanted to mention the amazing voice actor for the person in this episode is Odd Andrews. His name sounds like I'm saying he's odd, but no, it's A-U-D, Odd Andrews. He's fantastic. Fantastic old man voice. I also have him for Dominus, which I'm very excited about.
I'm so excited.
But for this episode, he is playing like the character, and something important that I need to share with all of you is that when he was playing this character, obviously it's a very raspy voice, right? Like it's a very, like, tired voice. And so he would have to take breaks every now and then. And whenever he took a break to take a sip of his tea, he would very seriously, in a very serious low voice, say, "Sippy sippy."
Sippy sippy. That is so cute.
Very important, sippy sippy. Kind of want to put it on a shirt. I'll just discuss it with him like, "Hey, Odd, can I just put sippy sippy on a shirt? And then you'll get all the proceeds or something."
It's so delightful, honestly.
So you may have noticed that that was not the full episode that you just heard. There is actually quite a bit more in the full version of this episode, and we're going to make that available on the Patreon for patrons $10 and above. However, we do want to include a lot of the episode in the main channel. I mean, by channel, I mean like, the main podcast feed. And we do want everyone to be able to hear most of it for free, especially those who ask questions. But in order to keep Hainai more sustainable, and to make sure that we're able to continue making the show, we do put some exclusive content on the Patreon. So I recommend and I highly encourage you to join the Patreon. At $3 a month, you can get all of the early access episodes and a bunch of bonuses. And, at $5, you get some extra art. And at $10, you get basically like bonus episodes and the full versions of these B-Sides episodes. So please do check that out. Please do subscribe at the Hainai Pod on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, especially if you're enjoying Hainai, and especially if you want to see some exclusive releases for any new projects that I'm working on. So yeah, thank you so much, Edward, for joining me on this episode.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I love these episodes, honestly. I do love to be able to talk about the process and like the behind the scenes and also answer a lot of the questions, especially from those who are like watching the lore, you know?
Mhm.
I love discussing the story elements with people.
It's
Thank you,
so much
Alex.
fun. Yes, thank you. Literally every single person. We love hearing from you. We love hearing your theories. We love hearing your questions. Even if they're not questions you necessarily want us to answer on the B-sides, we love hearing the questions that you're asking. Very special shout out to Alex because you are always talking and we love hearing your thoughts.
Exactly. But I'm also super grateful for all the new listeners who are like invested in the story. It really, really like warms the heart to
Yes.
see so many people like paying attention and being like, so what's this? What's that? You know, like picking up on things.
Yes,
Little
exactly.
Easter eggs and crumbs that I've left around.
Like, literally,
It's such a
all
good
of
time.
our longtime listeners, we love every single one of you, and we dearly appreciate all of the new listeners, too. Like, if you just hopped in, you just started listening, thank you so much because it's new listenership that helps keep the podcast going.
Exactly. Exactly. So thank you so much. Please keep listening. Enjoy the rest of the B-sides. Enjoy like the full episodes if you're able to subscribe to our Patreon. And of course, as always, maraming salamat. Please stay warm if you are in the East Coast right now. And thank you again. Have a great night, and good night, Edward, as well.
Good night, Motzie, and good night, listeners. See you in the
Good
next
night,
B-sides.
listeners. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.